everyone. I'm Cade and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for having me. First of all, it's great to be here. This is I really enjoy speaking on online meetings. It's not the first time I've done it. I actually have a regular Sunday meeting that I do with a bunch of my friends in Germany. Um, so I'm just gonna start off by saying hi, my name is Cade. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is September 29th, 2002. So next month I'll have 16 years. And what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now in 15 to 20 minutes. I've actually been like really, I just got done with my sponsee. She left like 2 hours ago, and we're on step one. And it's funny because I keep coming back to this the line in the book about from step 12 about ambition and what true ambition has become, and how true ambition is not what we thought it was. True ambition is, what is it? Is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly in the presence of God, and how that totally has become who I am today in a way that I never thought it would be. I am, so I was born and raised in New York City. I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I was born and raised on Greenwich Street with gay moms in the 80s and 90s. I grew up and was always exhibiting alcoholic behaviors. My very first memory in life is going to a friend's birthday party and eating so much cake and ice cream that I came home and threw it all up and was like, that was an amazing birthday, and translate that behavior at 4 years old and just translate that behavior to the rest of my life. I used my parents being gay as a reason to feel very separate. But I think being an alcoholic is like a condition of being an alcoholic, is we feel different. We feel separate. We feel alone. We feel different. We feel apart from, and we will use anything. When we're young, I personally used lying and stealing and these like little things to like do anything to get away from this feeling, or to feel a part of, to lie to be a part of a friend group, to lie to look better in other people's eyes, to steal, to just get out of this like feeling of hating yourself. And I think that, you can use whatever it is that is sticking out. In Japan, they have a saying that the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. And whatever it is that you think your nail is making your nail stick out, like for me, it's that I had gay moms, but I have a girl in my home group, and for her, it's that she was a redhead in a family of blondes. I think it's just a condition of us being alcoholics that we feel this difference inside of us and use to mask that different feeling. And use whatever we can get our hands on. And eventually that becomes the alcohol. And we use it and it becomes this tool that works. I remember the night I first got drunk, and I got very drunk the first night. It was a big summer. To understand like what led up to this, I had gay moms, and I have a sperm donor. My sister is a sperm donor. My sister's sperm donor like sued my family for paternity and visitation, and it was like really scary, and I thought my sister was going to be taken away from me, and it was like 4 years of this, and then we finally won, and we became like it was like such court drama, and we became like the first lesbians in history to win a court case against a donor, and we were like all over the media, and then we had to be this like perfect family. So it had been like a lot of like stress on me, and I'd like finally come out of that in the summer of 95, which I call like the seminal summer. And I like also came out that summer as like being attracted to women, and I got my first real crush on a girl. And I remember sitting in a circle, and I saw the beer coming around, somebody handed me a beer, and I saw the joint coming around the circle, and I was just like, I'm gonna rise to the occasion and be this person for Margaret Martin right now. Like, I'm just, enough is enough. And it was like this, like, I drank the beer and I smoked the joint, and it was like everything got better like instantly. You know, that fear that I had lived with, that feeling alone, that feeling different because I had gay moms, feeling different because I was gay, you know, it was like all gone. And like I got more beautiful, and Margaret got more beautiful, and like the drapes got more beautiful, and just like everything got so much better, like instantly. And it was like, oh, this is how you do life. This is how people get happy. Because I had been so unhappy for this like 4-year awful terror period that I didn't know how to be happy. And it was like, oh, this is how you get happy. And you know, you use the medicine until the medicine stops working. You know, I think for a lot of us, well, I will talk for me in particular, you know, I had mental health issues on top of this, and I was using drugs and alcohol as a way to self-medicate. And the medicine worked. You know, it worked for a while. It kept me from killing myself until it almost made me kill myself. You know, it's a disease of progression, and it progressed. It started off, and it's, you know, it starts off insidiously. And first you just get drunk with your friends on the weekend, and then I call them lines in the sand. And you make these like line in the sand statements about like, okay, I'm only gonna get drunk on the weekends, or like, I'm only gonna get drunk when I see Katie Flynn, or, you know, and you like cross these lines, and, you know, like, I'm not gonna smoke weed during school, or and then I'm not gonna ever do hard drugs. And then you like cross these lines in the sand over and over, and each time you cross them, you like leave a little bit of yourself behind until you're left at the end in your bottom completely empty, because you left so much of yourself behind those lines, and you're just left with nothing but an empty shell that you are filling up with drugs and alcohol. And that's all that's left at the end. And that's all that was left at the end from me. It was the summer. My disease went from the summer of 95 to the summer of 2002. And the summer of 2002 was misery. It was absolute misery. In May, I graduated from Smith College, and my parents had a discussion, had a joint session with my shrink to say if, and who sat them down and said, Cade may very well have a mental health issue, but we'll never figure it out because she has a very serious substance abuse issue. And the only way to cure the former is to cure the latter. And the only way to cure the latter is to cut her off. And they did. And they totally listened to her. And she saved my life, and my parents saved my life. And I hit bottom in 3 months. I was homeless. I had sold all my stuff. I was suicidal. I was running around Northampton, suicidal with a broken knee. And I called my parents, and they said, the only call we'll take from you is a call saying, I need help. I need to come home. I need help. And I called my parents, and I had a broken knee. And I said, I need to come home. I need help for my knee. And they let me and they let me come home. And they said, we have 3 rules for living in our house. You cannot sleep all day, you cannot have people over that we don't know, and you cannot do drugs or alcohol. And within 2 weeks, I had broken all of their rules, and in one day, I broke all of their rules, like all at once. And they sat me down on their couch in their bedroom, and you have this thing that lives inside of your head that just wants to kill you. A woman in my home group says, my husband is allergic to pumpkin seeds, and he's never trying to rationalize eating pumpkin seeds. Like, oh, I'm on vacation, I should eat pumpkin seeds. Like, oh, maybe just on my yogurt, I'll have pumpkin seeds. But we have this thing that lives in our brain and is constantly trying to kill us. And that moment that you sit on your parents' couch or wherever you sit, and you have this last little bit inside of you that wants to live, it's that moment of grace that you say, I don't know, I need help. And you truly accept the help is that last little bit of you that fights the monster. And that was September 28th, 2002. I said, I don't know, I need help. And they said, they flew into Mama Bear action, and I crawled out on my fire escape, and I rolled a joint, and I said, this is going to be the last joint you ever smoke. Just say goodbye right now. And I did. I thought I was going to be really sad while I was smoking it, but the only thing I could feel was relief. And then 4 days later, I went to rehab in Hazelden, and I was there for 28 days, and I got out on Halloween, and came back to Perry Street on Halloween. And I have been sober ever since. I did what people told me to do in the first year, for the most part. I did 90 meetings in 90 days. I cleaned up chairs. I swept cigarette butts. I made your coffee. I threw myself into this program with abandon. And I watched my life get better and better and better. I watched me go from somebody who was not somebody who was accountable or reliable to, somebody who was just able to show up for everyone and anything. Like if I said I was going to be there at 7:30, I would be there at 7:30. Prior to getting sober, I still had, wait, am I on mute? No, I'm fine. I'm watching the chat. No? Okay. Prior, you know, here's the thing. I got sober at 22, which sober or drunk, like 22 is still a messy age anyhow. And like my early 20s are still pretty messy, even though they're sober. Um, I had a hard time keeping a job. I had a hard time like figuring out a lot in sobriety, but I got through it sober. And then, I just like put one step in front of the other and got the first sober job and then got the second sober job. And now I've been at my job for, I got 9 years, and I just, and I've had like ups and downs in sobriety. I call them the 5-year itches. I had a huge emotional bottom at 5 years. I had a huge emotional bottom at 10 years. And I had a huge emotional bottom at 15 years. And like every year on the 5, 10, or 15-year mark, I would think, this is perfect. Like everything is amazing. And then like within weeks or days, everything would be awful. And what's great about that is that I would use that moment to dig into the program even deeper and figure out like a different aspect of my program to help pull me out of that. This program has given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. And it's not just beyond my wildest dreams, it's because like I have a life now that I never could have imagined, and I'm so much happier now in this life that I ever could have imagined. It's a state of contentment that I never knew was possible. Like I couldn't even dream this like level of self-contentment is not something I could have even dreamed. And that's been the biggest gift. I think I've gone over my time, and I think I should stop talking. I don't know, but I'm going to end with that. Thanks.